How often do you think stones falling from space hit people? In history, only one case has been officially confirmed, although others have also been reported. On the 30th of November 1954, the ceiling in the house of 34-year-old Ann Hodges broke from a 4-kilogram meteorite crashing into it. The stone bounced off the radio and hit the poor man in the thigh, leaving a huge bruise. The probability of an accurate hit in a person, a small meteorite, is negligible, but it happened. What if something big falls to the ground, like the largest asteroid in the solar system? Scientists estimate that there are now several 100 million asteroids in near-Earth orbit, ranging in size from 1 meter. Every day, about 100 tons of them in the form of small grains of sand and small stones penetrate into the atmosphere of the Earth and burn out without leaving behind a bright light. About 30 asteroids, or a large number of their debris in the form of meteorites, and a total mass of up to 2,000 tons, fly directly to the surface of the Earth every year. Larger noticeable meteorites with a size of more than 20 meters fall to the ground no more than 2 times in 100 years, the last of which hit the Russian Chelyabinsk region in 2013. Once every 1,000 years, objects like the Tunguska meteorite, which measured about 75 meters, reach the surface of the Earth. Even more rarely, asteroids more than 100 meters in size fall, once every several thousand years. The most gigantic asteroids, whose dimensions exceed kilometers, fall on our planet every 100 million years, but in this case they become the cause of a global catastrophe and the extinction of species. One of them probably destroyed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. If there were no wind, rain, and various geological processes on Earth, our entire planet would be strewn with craters, as can be observed on the Moon or Mercury. The remaining traces of space objects confirm that the fall of asteroids is not at all a fantasy. The visit of the following stones is only a matter of time. The most dangerous asteroids, scientists consider boulders of at least 140 meters in size. Moreover, they should be no further than 7.5 million kilometers from the ground. However, it is very difficult to notice them, because they often reflect poorly sunlight and have a flat shape and fly at a speed of 36,000 kilometers per hour. For individual asteroids, the speed can be noticeably higher, so the most powerful instruments are far from always able to record them in time. One of the most dangerous candidates will approach the Earth in October 2028. 1997 XF-11 will fly past our planet at a distance of 930,000 kilometers. It is so close that you can even observe it with ordinary binoculars. The size of the asteroid, according to various estimates, ranges from 700 to 1,400 meters. Scientists assure that it will fly by. Suppose something goes wrong and he changes his course, straight to the ground. The collision speed of such a block with the Earth's surface will reach about 48,300 kilometers per hour. This will provide an explosion with a capacity of 1 million megatons. It is difficult to imagine such a figure. Imagine that it partially burns up in the atmosphere, or splits into smaller fragments. If a fragment of an asteroid the size of a one-story house crashes into the ground at the same speed, it is approximately comparable in power to the bomb exploded in Hiroshima, about 20 kilotons. Such a collision will level to the ground all reinforced concrete buildings within a radius of 800 meters. Everything made of wood will be destroyed within a radius of 2.5 kilometers. If the length of the fallen asteroid turns out to be comparable to a 20-story building and is more than 60 meters wide, the impact power will be close to the explosions of modern nuclear bombs, that is, approximately 25-50 kilotons. This is enough to destroy all reinforced concrete structures 8 kilometers from the point of impact of the asteroid. Therefore, all living things will also perish in this area. If 1997 XF-11 falls as a whole, The power of the explosion will be 50 million times greater than the power of the bomb exploded in Hiroshima. Everything within a radius of 106 to 320 kilometers will turn to ash. If the epicenter is, for example, in New York, then from Boston to Washington, there would not be a single whole thing or life form, with the exception of super-resistant bacteria. The explosion will raise a huge amount of dust into the atmosphere, and the formed clouds will block the access of sunlight to the Earth's surface, so all who survive are likely to die from a sudden cold snap. And if such an asteroid falls into the ocean, it will provoke huge waves more than 30 meters high, which will wash away everything on the nearest coasts. This asteroid is only one of the few potentially dangerous objects that can destroy all life on Earth. The largest and most dangerous is Ceres. Since 2006, it has been transferred from the status of an asteroid to a dwarf planet. Ceres has a diameter of about 945 kilometers. Discovery Channel staff created an animation depicting the consequences of the collision of the Earth with a former asteroid. According to this video, first, the shadow from an approaching object will block access to sunlight in a sufficiently large area. When immersed in the atmosphere, the asteroid will begin to burn. Then Ceres will penetrate quite deep into the planet, provoking incredibly huge tsunamis in the ocean. The force of the collision will be so powerful that the fragments of our planet will go straight into space, but they will not stay there for a long time. The resulting fragments will fall like stone rain on every part of our planet. The Himalayan mountains, including the summit of Everest, will completely burn out and turn into a plain. Hardly anyone will be able to survive on Earth after this. Fortunately, in the near future, a collision with Ceres is unlikely, but this hypothetical experiment shows how fragile and vulnerable life on Earth is. According to scientists from NASA, to destroy all life on the planet, a 10-kilometer asteroid is enough. That is, almost 95 times smaller than Ceres. Since a collision with a large asteroid will happen sooner or later, researchers regularly look for ways to avoid such a catastrophe. The best way to do this is to knock down the trajectory of the asteroid or destroy it in space before it reaches us. For these purposes, NASA, together with SpaceX, plans to launch a spacecraft, DART. He must have collided with the satellite of the asteroid Didymos, which in October 2022 will be several million kilometers from the Earth. The DART weighs 500 kilograms and measures 12.5 meters by 2.5 meters. The diameter of Didymos' moon is about 150 meters. It is assumed that the spacecraft and the stone block will collide at a speed of 6 kilometers per second. This will allow scientists to understand whether a small collision can affect the orbit of the asteroid. The main thing is that after this experiment, Didymos or his moon do not go towards the Earth. Indeed, now their trajectories do not imply intersection with our planet. And yet, for each of us, the chances of being killed by an asteroid are rather small. They are even lower than the probability of being struck by lightning, which is only 1 in 280,000. But this statistics works for an individual person. If we talk about the planet as a whole, then the hazard coefficient increases. An asteroid, 2010 RF12, has the highest chance of hitting the ground, 1 in 16. It can crash into our planet in 2095 and get close to a distance of 8,700 to 15,000 kilometers from the Earth. Fortunately, it is not big enough to lead to global cataclysms, but in space there are still many other giant boulders flying past the Earth, dangerously close. Do you think technology will be able to provide full collision protection in the future? Write in the comments.